guys, and welcome to my new YouTube video. So a couple of months ago now I did a video about my first photography book, and I wasn't sure whether to do like a reaction slash analyse video on my second, third and fourth book. So what I decided to do is to react to all three of them in one video. So I'm going to quickly go through Unit 2, which was the second book I did in Year 12, Unit 3 and Unit 4, which obviously were the two books I did in Year 13. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and also let your friends know about the videos, let your friends know about my channel, and yeah, it'll help me get some more views and some more subscribers. So without further ado, let's go. So let's start with Unit 2. So Unit 2 was the second photography book that I did as part of my AS, and the theme we got to pick ourselves. So the theme that I decided to pick was evidence. So first thing we decided to do was obviously make a mind map. So I've got all the different things related to evidence, and then again a mind map, but this was mainly just for pictures. Then we went on to our inspired artists, so I picked Ian C. Whitworth, Nikki Little, Russ and Rain and Straight Photography, both photography companies. Russ and Rain focus more on shadows, this one focuses more on black and whites and then mixing the colours. So obviously my initial photo shoot was when I went to Paris, so I've got a map from when I went to Paris, I've got tickets from when I went to Paris, so that was my evidence for there. Also got some pictures of some of the landmarks, a contact sheet of all of the images from when I went to Paris, some of them group pictures, some of them selfies and some of them completely random pictures. Yeah, so that was obviously when we went to the graveyard in Paris. And the first thing I decided to do was a bit of experimentation. So I've taken my original picture and maybe darkened it, or added different shadows and lightings on it. I've used PicMonkey, I've used Photoshop, and I also think I used Paint. So yeah, the images are very, very small, and the detail is very, very, well, not detailed, but it was just for the initial photo shoot, so it didn't need to be too much in detail. So for the exam part of my photography book Unit 2, I picked Emma Jane Falconer as my inspired artist. Again, I've used my original pictures, got evidence, got explanations of what I did, each of the pictures, whether I made them black and white and added a bit of colour, whether I decided to have multiple pictures in the same image, like this one for example where the trains are back to back. And yeah, along with the book obviously you can see I've got pink, blue, I just thought it's obviously evidence of colour, and that was what I decided to bring into a photo shoot later on in the book. So I've got again another inspired artist, a bit more photography here, adding on people's likes. So my friend Hannah used to work at the Nike store, Michael used to play football, I obviously like music, so I put myself as the music symbol. And that was it for the exam. So for my photo shoot 1, again, like I said, I was inspired by the shadow photography of Russ and Rain. So with my photography, I've got pictures of my friends, and with them I've obviously taken my own shadows and merged the images together. Contact sheet, final just created a bit of analysis about that. Then I moved on to again my second photo shoot. It was inspired by Irving Penn, the artist, and South Bank, the area. Again, contact sheet, some images, bit of analysation. These are some of the best pictures I took on the photo shoot. And yeah, that goes on for quite a bit. Again, the original images, how I photoshopped them together, inspired artist in the middle here. And yeah, that keeps going on. It's inspired with different things, and yeah. Then I did a mini photo shoot, so the mini photo shoot was on cigarettes. So again, I've used the Photoshop to multiply the image twice. So I've done that, I've blurred some of the images, I've changed some of them to colour, some of them to black and white. It was just experimentation, just to see if the images were worth coming out. Anton Usland, so he was my inspired photographer for my Unit 3. So I started by taking pictures of myself with envelopes, didn't really have any other models at that time. Again, I've multiplied the image, I've changed some of them to black and white, some of them to colour, as you can see here. I've then flipped myself around. I think the images are a lot bigger in the next page, yep. So again, black and whites, dark and black and whites, and then this was the inspired artist, so you can see the similarities between that. Here, I've done some more experimentation, some more image creations. Again, my model Hannah, I've done some different colours, some different shapes, different patterns, different backgrounds. And again, Anton Usland was my inspired photographer for that. So we keep going, and we do even more weird ones. So Charlotte Malteser in this one. I put her on a leaf. Yeah, some more weird photos and photography here, and it keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Again, another inspired photographer, Brandy Vigor. Bit more analysis, how I edited the picture, how I've done it, and yeah, it keeps going. So the next photo shoot that I did for this unit was a photo shoot evidence of art. So I've taken pictures of random stuff in South Bank, food, bananas, and I've added graffiti onto it myself. Then obviously I've decided to do an actual photo shoot on bananas. So I've taken pictures of bananas, I've got all my sprinkles and all of this, and I've actually physically made my own banana collage. Again, Andy Warhol was the inspiration for that. You can see the different colours, you can see the way I've laid it out. So I've done some more, well, evidence for that. Valuations, so I've evaluated the whole book. Each of the photo shoots, what went well, what didn't go too great. Proposal, so obviously the images I've decided to put on my exhibition. So I've chosen a few of the dark ones. This is the banana collage, and then I picked most of the graveyard pictures that were part of that. So I think out of all of the 4 books, my Unit 1, my Unit 2, Unit 3 and Unit 4, I think Unit 3 was my favourite one. It was the one where I was able to, well, tell my book into a story the most, and I think the actual images and the actual quality of the editing was the best. It's quite ironic really, because my Unit 3 was called Storytelling. So right at the beginning, you can see that I've got an essay, so we had to do a 2,000-3,000 word essay just about why we chose the theme, what we did for all of the photo shoots, and where we got all our information, pictures and all of that stuff from. So that was the essay that I did there. So as you can see, my personal investigation is storytelling, so this is going to be slightly awkward to film because I now have to flip it the other way around. But yeah. So again, I've got a mind map, I've got a mood board, possible themes I wanted to explore. Again, I've got with reflections, text and image, some inspired artists already, the natural world, storytelling, and obviously this is where I thought, right, let's go straight into storytelling, so I did the history of storytelling here. So again, so these are all the first beginnings of where stories were told, whether it was through Native American tribes, whether it was through kids, whether it was through parents, whoever it was, this is the timeline of storytelling. So my first artist, who I actually used for most of my photo shoots in the book, Ade Adesokan, he'd been doing photography for at least 15 years, and what he did is he went up to members of the public and he asked to take a picture of their head, a picture of their middle, a picture of their below half, and put it all together as a photo shoot. So it told a story behind each of the people. He was able to tell a story about them with literally just 3 pictures and 2 minutes of a conversation. Again, these are some other themes that he explored personally, and then I also looked at some other inspired artists. So Virginia Driving Hawk Sneeve, the Book of Knowledge and Wisdom, which was written by Brooke Poole. Elevich, who is a photographer that deals with, well, he takes pictures of people lying on a black and white gradiented background, draws things and turns it into proper pictures. I've also got Andy Warhol once again, and again I did my photo shoot 1 with Andy Warhol as the inspired artist. So I've got a contact sheet, I've got some information, and what I did is I just took pictures of loads of my friends and I decided to create some of my own. Again, I've analysed my own pictures, again I've experimented with making them black and whites, and I do think that it went very, very well, and as you can see in the book, it will get better. Again, gallery visit to the Photographer's Gallery in September, and to Tate Modern in 2015, both of those. Brighton trip, so I did a mini photo shoot of Clark, which was one of my mates at the time and still is a mate, just don't really talk to him very much. A link to his channel will be put in the description below. Burnt Chicken, he's done 4 videos, and yeah, go and subscribe to him, he's a funny lad. But yeah, did a photo shoot of him. Again, I've experimented with different colour backgrounds, and I've also experimented with the different colours of the images. Flipbooks, I attempted to sketch, well, to draw a flipbook, can't draw. But again, with the Civimpar, with the chatterboxes, I've explained what they all are, I've tried to draw what they are, and the fact that these can be potential ideas, how you can storytell, how you can tell stories, and then I physically actually decided to create some myself. So as you can see here, I have a little paper design on the left, and that's literally where I've just drawn people and put it together. I've also got these chatterbox things which you make like this with paper, and it picks a random number or colour. Again, I've made some here with actual people, so these are my actual friends, so that came out quite well. Again, another one with their facing different ways, and then again that's how that one looked. Again, other plans, ideas, so I wasn't sure whether to have a smaller one, a medium-sized one, or quite a large one, but that was just ideas that I thought I might as well add into the book. Again, another way to do it is by printing all of the individual images together and sticking them in, so that's what I did there. And again, my contact sheet and my inspired artists, just so you know who I am referring to. Again, with my experimentation, I decided to do another photo shoot. So this one was of my friend Denise and my mum at the time. Well, I say my mum at the time, she still is my mum. But yeah, so I've done a photo shoot here, taking a picture of her, top, middle and bottom. And again with my mum, again with my dad, and again with my friend Serena. Contact sheets included, Jenny and Clark also, and then obviously another contact sheet. So I've just kept going, I've changed the gradients, I've analysed it, and I extended the photo shoot by going to a park and doing some more pictures. So that was of me and my friend Hannah. Yeah, and then to extend the photo shoots even further, with my collages I've changed the colours, I've added on weird shapes to make it look like Andy Warhol, and again added contact sheets, again changed the colour balances, and even gradiented some of the pictures. So moving on to a different artist, I decided to do a fourth photo shoot inspired by Gillian Waring. So Gillian Waring does a triptych sort of video, the triptych sort of photography, but instead of splitting the image in three, she just has the one image with a piece of text. So I thought, okay, brilliant. So I'll take a picture of someone, get them to hold some text, and then, boom, with that text, then I'll go on to chop them. So I've merged two artists together, and I've created some fantastic photography, I believe. So again, I've done that quite a lot. That was my photography teacher. This is me, Hannah and Clark, and then my photography teacher and my friend Denise. Again, the experimentation went on and on and on. I've changed the colours, I've done some more photo shoots, I've got some more friends involved. That's Holly at the top, Clark near the bottom. And I also looked at Man Ray and Strolino, who also, one does repetitive imagery and one cuts up pieces of paper. So I thought, alright, cool, I'll do that. So what I did with my new photo shoot is I decided to start cutting up my imagery. So as you can see here, I've got some triangles, I've got some squares, I've got some weirds, I don't even know what they are. But yeah, I decided to just experiment with some different shapes. These are all curvy pictures, and I don't know what they are, but they just look quite interesting. And I further developed the idea by more experimentation. So I've now gone in different shapes. I've now actually physically cut just the top half, just the middle half, and just the bottom halves on their own. And then the next photo shoot that I did was to merge multiple of the images together. Another artist I got inspiration from, Andrew Ricola. He takes pictures of people, blacks out their face and writes text inside. So I decided to do that not only for myself at the bottom here, but to also do that with my friend Nikki. And yeah, so that was some more photography there. And I think this is where we get near the end, because I can see the book getting complete. Yes, so here are the final images that I decided to do. Instead of making the faces black, I made them white, and instead of having the text on the face, I had the text going round. I just think it looks a lot more cool, it looks a lot more professional. And then these were the final images that I came out with in the end. So obviously one with and without the text, again one with and without the text, and this one looked better with the text. And that was it. So that is my first book of A-Level. So I'm going to quickly go through the second book. Okay, so finally I'm going to go through my A-Level second book, so Unit 4. So, I don't know why there's white pieces of paper here, but you can obviously tell it's patterns. The theme I decided to go for was patterns. Now, out of the 4 books, I don't really remember this one, but it'd be quite interesting to have a look over it again. So with like the other two books, I decided to do a mind map. So I've mind mapped the words, and I should have pictures on the next page, believe it or not. Yes, I do. So I've got the artist names, I've got pictures of the artist, and you can see different styles and the different types of patterns that people can have for photography. So, Inspired Artist 1, Mads Perch, he mainly takes pictures on black backgrounds and uses natural lighting to create shapes and shadows. Hayley Warnham, again, she takes pictures mainly, well, most of her pictures are in black and white or gradiented, or even they're old pictures, and she blocks out the colours and even adds colour onto pictures. With the third Inspired Artist, Paul Strand, he again takes pictures, black and white, and he just captures natural shadows. So similar to my first artist, Mads Perch, but no people involved at all. My initial photo shoot, that was done in my own home, so I've taken loads of pictures of stuff, whether it was pictures of my hands, pictures of chairs, pictures of curtains, pictures of windows, and what I decided to do is edit them in different ways. So this is the floor, these are some blinds, and I've edited them by either making them all black and white, making some of them more black, making some of them more white, experimenting with the different blacks and whites, contrasts, everything like that, and again with the floor, making them cartoon-like. So that went on quite a while, and then for part 2 of this experiment, I decided to go into my school, take pictures of the chairs, take pictures of my bedrooms, and block out the background completely. So as you can see here, compared to how that looked before, boom, blocked out. And again, compared to how that one looked before, blocked out. So what I decided to do next on from that, like I said, took pictures of the chairs and the natural shadows at school with Klaus Fram's inspired photography. He more or less collages everything together and has weird stuff coming out of all the different places. So I attempted to make my own collages as normal squares, and I think, nope, I saved that idea for future one of the book. What I was going to do, or what I have done further in the book I remember now, is I've actually started to make my photography look like this. So rather than it just being in a square or a collage, I've actually had random things coming out as well. So before I went on to that, I did my first photo shoot where it was inspired by Mads Perch, the guy that does colour, photography and natural lighting all in one. So I've done my contact sheets of all of my friends, even of myself, analysed them briefly, just which pictures worked, which ones don't, and went on to exploring and experimenting with some of the pictures. So it started off like that. So I've used the projector to project on the background, so at least I can see the shadows on her face. Obviously made sure I've turned the lights off, used good lighting at the front to see and make sure that I can see her. Again, I've analysed all of the pictures, which ones went well, which ones didn't go too great. Then I brought in the colour, and I think I also decided to experiment with the stitching. So as you can see here, I've got more coloured backgrounds, and I think on this next one, yeah, so I decided to experiment with the stitching. As you can see, this one slightly looks better than that one, but I wasn't too much of a fan of the stitching, so I decided to go back just to my imagery. With the best 16 images of the photo shoot, I decided to say which ones worked, which ones didn't, how some of them worked better with facial expressions, how some of them, maybe the ones with coloured backgrounds distracted the viewer, so to maybe start with black and whites and just focus on black and whites. But with some of the colour images, I decided to use that Klaus Fram inspired artist in order to create some of these collages. Again, I didn't have loads of random stuff, it was just a squares and rectangles, but they did come out quite well. These are the originals, this is the steps I took, this is the inspired artist, and this was the final images. Again, that went on for quite a long time. We've started to completely get rid of the facial features now, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want it to look like a person, I'd rather it look like more like a puddle or a collage of random stuff. So, with the second photo shoot, I've decided to use Hayley as the inspired artist, so Hayley Warnham. Again, she's the lady that blocks out colours, so the first thing I decided to do, get some close-up pictures of my friend, block out the colours. Again, I continued doing that. I have my inspired artist at the bottom, I have my extra experiments over here. Again, I have pictures of me, pictures of my mum in a collage, and this was my Lauren Marek inspired collage gridding, and Hayley Warnham was the blocked colour, so I tried to merge the two artists together. So yeah, I've individually cropped these images, cropped them further, and then put those into collages, collage that again, and obviously inspired by this, I've come up with some weird looking but quite creative pictures. Again, I've done some more refinements with the photo shoot, so with these collages, I changed some of the colours, so rather it being the 9 boxes of colour on top of another image, I've got a picture of Nikki or a picture of whoever in the background, and a few of the boxes can be shown or can be appeared, main focus being on the parts of the pictures that are still there. I even went further with using an artist called Chad W.Y.S. I think that's called Chad Weiss. He has blocks of colour physically on the picture, so reds, greens, blues, so I decided to copy one of his images straight away, and then boom, change the size, shapings of my images. So I've gone back to the collage again, and then I decided to collage but in circles, and then collage the circles even further into smaller circles, and again it starts to make a pattern. So moving further on from that, again I got inspiration from the test card pattern, something that I came across on the internet while I was looking for inspired artists. I've decided to experiment with the different gradients, bulge out the circle, again by the Vercelli experiment, and it was just a load of random things just to develop my images further, and just so I could say, look, I've attempted something with this image, it doesn't look right, or it does look right, or whatever. Photoshoot 4, that's when I physically went around to school. Again, took pictures of some of the lightings, and with those changed the colour, added some people features onto it, and photoshopped it to make some weird collaged pictures. As you can see here, exactly the same person but a completely different angle. Again here, the lighting and the shadows are slightly different. I've analysed the text, I've got inspiration from Paul Strand from before, but I didn't want to copy his exact work, I wanted to make it slightly different, slightly mine. So here, rather it just being as a rectangle, I physically changed the shape of the image, whether it was around this way or whether it was more like an arrow shape. And again, these are some of the ideas that I came up with. This is my image, this was Alexis Bednage's image, so you can sort of see the similarities between the images, between mine and his. This is what I was saying about the Paul Strand inspiration from before and the Klaus Fram inspiration. Rather than just having the pictures like this, I did decide to actually merge everything together. So this is it in the style of Paul Strand, using Klaus Fram to extend the photo shoot. So again, with the pictures that I've got of my friends, I decided to do more experimentation. I don't know if I have more in here. Yes I do. So this is some more experimentation that I decided to do. Inspiration also by David Hockney, so I've got a lot of inspiration for my images here, and yeah, it was very fun making these books. It was just very difficult to get the imagery ready. Potential layout for my final images. So obviously I've gone to the expedition where Paul Strand had his images laid out, and I thought, okay, I've got some imagery that's similar to his, how should I lay it out? I can either lay them all in a straight line, like he does, literally a bit of gap between the rest, or I could have my own inspiration, my own ideas, and set it up like this. Intention statement, what I was intending to do, which images I intended to use, how each photo shoot went well, didn't go well. Composition ideas, this was mainly for the exam, so again Mrs. Clark's here. I've got a couple of the people that used to go to school with me, experimented with different backgrounds, and I realised here that the images are great, but there was just too much happening in each of the images. I mean, you've got different shapes, you've got different people, you've got different colours, and you've got a different background. It was just too much happening at once, so I decided to simplify the ideas. So rather than using everything, I decided to compose another idea. Again, it was taking pictures outside of shadows, bringing the images to life by turning them into black and white, and then merging them to make them look like all of my inspired artists together. So it did take a lot of energy, it did take a lot of editing and a lot of patience to get these images together. But the first three images I got, 1, 2 and 3, were the inspired images by Paul Strand and Klaus Fram. Again, I've got three completely different types of images here. That's 1, 2, 3. Again, similar process of layering different shapes on top of each other, but these were the next three images. And the final three with the people. Rather than having loads of colours, I decided to use Paul Strand, Klaus Fram, David Hockney as my inspirations, make all the images black and white, some of them lighter than others, but repeating the shapes and adding them together. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I did an analysation of my Unit 1 book in a previous video, so I'll tag that up here in a minute. But yeah, if you haven't seen that, go and watch that. But I decided to just look over my Units 2, 3 and 4 books, just because I had a bit of time, I had a bit of energy, and I was like, look, I haven't seen this stuff in like a year, so I might as well have a look. And it just came to me that I might as well react to it. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you did, if you want me to maybe start doing more stuff like that, more photography, more art, more stuff like that. Out of Units 1, 2, 3 and 4, which one's your favourite? And yeah, just, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Share my channel with your friends, share my videos with your friends, and if you have any other video ideas or anything like that, hit me up on social media. I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter, I've got Snapchat, I've got Instagram, I've got WhatsApp, and obviously I've got YouTube. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in another video.